This article was written in 2015, so the current information is no longer correct, but the historical information is, so that's why I'm still recording it. Australia's current population is 23 million people, and of those, 17 million were born in Australia. That means that 6 million were not. 6 million was Australia's entire population in 1925. Here I present evidence from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, Australian Historical Population Statistics. If you wish to do your own research, just download the migration file, then look at tab 7.1. The link will be in the tab below. The file goes back to 1925, so the 1920s are only half a decade. We will also notice that more people left Australia in the 1930s than arrived due to the severity of the economic depression. The 1940s is really the last 3 years. Before that, more people left than arrived. Migration has gone up and down, sometimes quite dramatically, since 1945. The lowest, by a long way, was 13,515 in 1975. The highest was 315,687 in 2008. Both years Labor was in power. Between 1925 and 1929, 170,000 people arrived. In the 1930s, a net total of 2,500 people left Australia. In the 1940s, 219,000 arrived. In the 1950s, 896,000 arrived. In the 1960s, 971,000 arrived. In the 1970s, 684,000. In the 1980s, 1,079,000. In the 1990s, 790,000. Between 2000 and 2009, 1,700,000. You will notice that the first decade of this century saw nearly as many immigrants as the 1980s and 1990s combined, 1,700,000. Let's look at it another way, by each quarter century or 25-year period. Between 1925 and 1950, 387,000 people arrived. Between 1951 and 1975, 2,334,000 people arrived. Between 1976 and 2000, 2,088,000 people arrived. Between 2001 and 10, so that's a 10-year period, 1,872,000 people arrived. At this rate, by 2025, there will be 4,255,000. According to Characteristics of Recent Migration, November 2015, again from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, Australia's population over the age of 15 is 18,295,000. Australian born, 12,474,000, 68%. Foreign born, 5,821,000, 32%. In 2013, 10% of Australia's population aged over 15, 1,821,000 of them, had been here 10 years or less, and each year it continues. Now let's look at it a third way, by political parties since 1945, when the Department of Immigration was formed. Governments don't change on the 1st of January, so I'll count the last year of a government as fully theirs. The next full year will be the next parties. For example, in 1949, Labor lost government to the Liberals. 1949 is counted as all Labor, 1950 as all Liberal. Total immigrants between 1945 and 2010, 4,542,684. Under the Australian Labor Party, 2,320,000. Total years in office between 1945 and 2010, 24 years. The Liberal Party and Country National Party, 2,221,000. Total years in office between 1945 and 2010, 41 years. Labor is worse, but the Liberals aren't innocent by any means. This needs to stop. Both major political parties are making Australians a minority in our own country.